Hello, everybody. A very warm, good afternoon to all of you guys down there in Australia and possibly coming from all over the world, right? So thank you, first of all, for your time for joining today's session on turning design inspiration into reality, hosted by Stratasys. My name is Marcus here. I'm an application engineers manager for Stratasys South Asia, and I'm currently based out of Shanghai. So we've got a few more attendees coming in. So I think let's give them another 1 or 2 minutes. 2 minutes from now, we'll start the session officially for today. All right. So I really appreciate your patience with us for another 2 minutes, and then we'll begin right there. Cool. All right, it's 10:03 right now on my clock, so I think it's about time that we kick into today's session. And again, thank you for your time and patience. So for today, what we've prepared for you is so I'm going to do a quick intro about Stratasys for those of you who are new to Stratasys or new to additive manufacturing. And then moving on, we are very pleased to have our special guest, Stephen Ma from Sugarance today. He's done a lot of fantastic work with us in the past, leveraging Stratasys technologies in numerous cool projects. So I'm very pleased to have him on the line to share with us how he, was able to leverage this amazing technology and turning things into reality. All right. So about Stratasys, for Stratasys at a quick glance, we've been in the 3D printing or additive manufacturing industry for over 30 years, right? In fact, we were actually one of the first companies that kind of invented this industry, right? Our founder, Scott Crump, invented the FDM technology, which is now by far the most widely used additive manufacturing technology in the world. That was about 30 years ago, right? And we are a global company, operating across the globe. So right now, I'm currently sitting in our Shanghai headquarters, covering the entire South Asia from India, Greater China, Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, right, which is for you guys today. And we are actually in a turning point that, in the past, we've been focusing very much in prototyping, in design ideas, and now, we see the whole industry moving into a massive manufacturing market, right? And as Stratasys, we wanted to be very clearly number one choice in terms of polymer additive manufacturing solutions. And that's why, over the last 2 years or so, there is a dramatic expansion of our technology offering. Now we've got the full polymer additive manufacturing technology under our portfolio, ranging from our proprietary PolyJet and FDM technology, and now we're extending over to DLPs, to powder-based technologies, as well as stereolithography, right? And with that, we've also made a couple of acquisitions and partnered with software leaders, right, in the industry. We've acquired GrabCAD as an example, and we partner with leaders like Keyshot, Grasshopper, and everything to help our customers to streamline this workflow for additive manufacturing. All right, so this is a quick glance of how we started. 1988, when Scott Crump invented FDM technology, and then over the years there was a major merger in 2012 where we've added PolyJet to our portfolio. And PolyJet technology over the years has evolved tremendously. We were one of the first company in the world that introduced full color 3D printing to designers and engineers, right? And just the last 2 years, we've added Origin, ZAR, Neo 3D into our portfolios. And for today, obviously, our focus is mainly around PolyJet, right? It's the whole technology and our latest offerings were designed for designers. And with that, I'm very pleased to invite Stephen, who's joining us live from, I don't know, he's based out of so many places. I think his latest update is in Shanghai today. So I'll hand it over to Stephen to tell you all about the amazing work that he's done and he and his team did in the past years with PolyJet. Right, over to you, Stephen.
Okay. Where do I click on?
So I'm gonna change you into
I think you have to get off the.
Yeah, I think you are the presenter now.
See my screen?
Yep. If you could turn into presentation mode, I think that will be perfect.
Yes, in a minute. Okay, thanks for joining. So basically, I've been doing architecture and 3D printing for the past, I would say 10 to 12, 10 to 15 years. 15 years ago, I started doing 3D printing, and then, but in 2013, when I moved my company from Vienna and LA back to Shanghai, we did a lot of 3D printing work during that time, and then it's been like almost 10 years from now, and we have a small design team, which is about like 20 designers in-house, and then we are actually is a company that doing 3D printing design service worldwide, but mainly in China, because of the there's a lot of content that and what we can provide to a lot of company in China, in IP development, product design. Especially, we also doing architecture, facade printing, furniture with different materials, and BASF is actually one of our investor that providing a lot of materials and 3D printing as well as digitalizations, turning digital data, 3D digital data. As well as a lot of fabrication with different materials. This is an exhibition that we did in Shanghai last year that showcased a lot of 3D printing work that what we've been doing in the past, through, sculptures, film industry, product design, as well as, let me show you a really quick video. Hold on. You guys able to see the screen with the video?
Don't think so. Lucy, could you help out on that? I think something.
Actually, it's okay if it's, don't worry about it. Am I still on?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Let's forget about the video. I think it's a little. So you're seeing my screen right now with a lot of pictures, right?
No, I'm still at the video
Okay.
page. I'm afraid we'll need Lucy to come in, and yeah, I think we are now back on your presentation. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. So anyway, so I've been switching back and forth in architecture and 3D printing for the past 10 years, and you can see that there's a lot of architectural qualities on these kind of 3D printing products, especially in lighting and then furniture, product design. We have our own museum in Shanghai, and then also like 3D print cafes. This is very interesting. This is like 2013 when we actually first user that using Stratasys full color printing. So 90% of the designers are really using 3D printing as a technique of producing their product for the exhibitions. That was back in 2013 in France. And then in 2014, I think Stratasys launches their first 3D printed full color printer. And then after that, we did a lot of testing on, like color mapping on those. First prototype that we use for some products that we work on beta, the showcase. So basically at that time, most of the work is about prototyping, and it's not really about like consumer product. But lately, still for the past 10 years, like the last 5 years, start to becoming more and more product oriented, which is like the final finish that we can get for a product. So for example, like, chairs and then lighting, and then these are some of the work that we've been doing. So we've been working with a lot of company in Shanghai, in China, on different kind of products and work. So one of the main thing is, full color printing. So this is something that you can already use right away when we print it. So it's actually, we don't need a lot of like post-processing time. This is actually a full color print ready to be print. Usually what we did is we, before we do like a printing with plastic and then with color, but actually with the color, we can have like high resolution of textures, translucency, transparency, and then, different kind of color. And then the color is actually very, very accurate. I would say 99% that is accurate. You can see that the detailing of this like phone cases that we try to do the chain structures, super, super small detail. We're able to print it. And also we produce a lot of like iPhone cases for the Forbidden City. As well as a couple years ago, we did a mapping mirror war with Stratasys on mapping images. This is another project that we did with JD, that for their museum exhibitions, which is a figure that we try to map it in full color printing. This is actually a very interesting project because we only have like 14 days, like 2 weeks, to produce 7,000 pieces. So what we actually did at, like for traditional way of doing it, you cannot really produce, like 7,000 pieces in 2 weeks. So we have to do a full color printing mapping for this project, and then we deliver it within like, just this product here. And then we continue to help them do a lot of different docs, version of the figurines with full color. And this is another project. Now we have cats. So basically, we scanned the cat skin, and then we're working with Shanghai team on the Mini Cooper, the collections. So we've been trying a lot of different ways of creating content within the Mini Cooper restrictions, and then so these are different customized design. Which we can do for full color printing. This is very interesting where you can produce different angles of prints, like the geometry within the clear plastic and different views. You can view it from different angles to have different pictures. And then, continue work on a lot of automobile industry products. This is one of the full color print translucent. There's no way that you can do it without 3D printing, because traditional way you cannot really do this kind of crystal-like, translucent, gradient color sort of mapping. So for the car industry, we did a lot of things, full color, FDM, and also soft materials. So this is a sofa skin that we did with hair. And then later on, we actually tried to do with like color hair for it looks like a very, it actually printed on fabrics. And also we did a car seat design using the large scale FDM, very doable, very strong materials. So it actually is a large size 3D printing. So the full chair can be printed, very doable and very strong materials. And then we also test a lot of like different rims design, printed in this kind of polymer materials, and then we can actually cast it in metal. So basically we can use it as a casting. And then one of the very good thing about the 3D printing full color is about the translucency and the lighting effects. That what we've been trying to do is try to embed like special lighting design within the project, and then you can see that the gradient of color is actually 100% the same. So you can actually input Pantone color into the models. So you can see actually printed. Hold on. You can see this is actually the print with the very slight gradient and exactly what you see on screen. And then also with like fine details, and this is actually a translucent materials with a little bit of color within it. And then we also work with Li Ling in Shanghai, based on the idea of like multicolor soft materials, because of the softable support. So it's easy to remove the support. So we are actually providing a design to Li Ling about the full color gradient, shoe-based design, and also this kind of like printed on fabric technology. Only Stratasys has it right now with the technology. In terms of film industry, we've been working with a lot of these creatures on, translucent wings. We've been produced like 100 bees for a museum with the eyes. You can see that the structure within the eyes are actually reflected differently according to the light. So this is actually something very interesting, how we can create something that very special for the eyes of the bee and the wings. So this is and also the antenna and all these like soft materials included into the detailing. Another project that we did for a bar that we printed like a FDM full size, 2-meter long, hanging on the wall, as well as these kind of weapons. We tried a lot of like materials with Stratasys on translucent, soft, and hard materials, and then we try to paint it on it so that we can create these kind of like old, the rusty finishes. So the entire process, we try to print it as soft materials using the polymer, and then paint it, scan it, and then we digitalize it, and then so that we can actually print exactly the same every time. So after you paint it once, and we scan it, and when we map it, and then we print it again. So basically, the end product is already embedded, kind of like a paint job on it, but it's actually a print. And then we also do a lot of like testing on like FDM printing on the durability. I mean, it's a weapon, kind of like it needs to be very strong. So we use the FDM technology, as well as these kind of skateboard materials. Actually, this is a very special material from Stratasys where it's actually not too hard, not too soft. It's actually right on to be doable to use it for a skateboard. And also in terms of like large scale printing, we did a lot of components, large scale printing using FDM materials. And also interior, we try to also use, this is also FDM printing, 400 different towers of architecture buildings. And it printed within like 2 weeks. So we deliver very fast, unlike, like traditional way of model, producing sculptures, wall mural. These are individual panels with FDM prints, and then it has a translucent kind of effects to it. As well, we also work on, with Shanghai team, on the translucent ultra clear materials. This is actually, we actually try to fit all these kind of micro detail into the 3D printing. So you can see the translucency of the materials, picture frames, and also some of these gifts that we did with Forbidden City. And also the keyboard buttons, and also some of these, KOL gifts that using full color translucent materials. This is one of the projects that we recently working with SIPO in Shanghai on like the full color printing mixed with metal. So later on, these will be printed with full color. Something like this, like a full color print, and then we use a metal casting, so that is a mixture of material. So this will be this is a project with a SIPO. And then Starbucks, we also do a lot of like furniture printing, museums printing, full color mapping. This is another product that we use full color. For Materialize, we provide them like this kind of like gifts for their customers. And also trophy design that we're using full color, basically color and also translucent material mixed product for trophy. And then another project we did last year with Comac and Stratasys on also the translucent materials because of the the translucency of the detailing that we can show within the model. So this is actually all model embedded with full color, and then later on we can print it. It's a 2-meter, airplanes model, and also we digitalize architecture model, and then we print it as a miniature so that we use it for Shanghai Concert Hall. This is already produced now, selling in Concert Hall right now. And also we work with China Eastern Airline. This is actually one of the biggest projects that we did, I guess 2 years ago. We produced like 10,000 of these. It was like a $7 million project back in 2018. And then another one with Eastern Airline for the VIP printing of these kind of small houses that represent Shanghai. And then we also do a lot of architecture scanning, real scannings, and then we provide like these kind of digital data, texturing, and then print it. So you can see that's all these kind of detailing, that it's already digitalized into the model. Another architecture project with a clear coating. The idea is to print like a translucent materials with the architecture inside the translucent, transparent bottle. And then these are some of the small print. It's actually very, very small. And then another project about architecture models we did with Evergrande with 35 different castles. So the idea is like they only give us like a 2D model, 2D pictures, and then we have to actually produce it in 2D. And then we are making like digital files, models, and then which for the for Evergrande, and these are a lot of these components are actually printed with full color. And then the last two projects that I want to show is one that I'm currently working on right now, which is Taihu Stone. We also digital scan it, and then fixing the model, the detailing, closing the holes, because when you scan it, some of them are missing. So we actually spend a lot of time like fixing the model. We digitalize it, giving a very, very nice textures. And then, so you can see the entire process where we can actually creating, very detailed and less detail, so that we can scale up and down, adding like structures. So basically we can try to create different size of the model and a different texturing for different purposes. For example, jewelry, for sculptures, for furniture. And then we can cast it as well. So this is actually some of these 3D full color idea that we can do with Stratasys. This is the last two project, which is an avocado table. So what we actually printed was the table surface that with the gradient and the texture mapping. So this is a rendering of what it's shown, you know, how actually have the gradient, and each of these panels are all different. So now, and then this is actually the process how we actually print all the panels with the numbers marked on it, so that you can see that there's like a slight number at the end of it. This actually came out right from the printer. So we actually so we delivered this in the exhibition last year. And then the last project that I want to show, which is a 3D pets. So one of the client came to us. Basically, his dog passed away, and then he wants to, you know, make a 3D model of it. So he gave me a picture of it and asked me if it's doable. So that you know, we picked you know, one of the position, and then we start making, you know, like a 3D model of it. You know, there's more details that we have to look at in order to sculpt it. So we start from scratch. And then slowly, you know, sculpt it into, you know, the doxy, you know, with the pictures, with the hair, and then finally with the texture mapping, and then, you know, a lot of the detailing from the feedback of the clients. The entire process is about like 10 days, and then after that, we printed with the full color, and then we also use the soft materials at this time. So it's been, I mean, you can scale it differently, and then he used it to their families, members, friends. And then, so this is actually one of the, you know, very interesting project that we did last year. Anyway, so these are all the projects that we've been past that would status this. So I'll hand back on to, I mean, give back to Marcus.
All right. Thank you, Stephen, for sharing with us, you know, all these amazing projects over the years, right? So, you know, I've been personally involved in many of these projects, and it was just amazing, you know, to see how, you know, when designers are enabled with technologies that, you know, can quickly iterate and, you know, show you kind of almost instant response, and then that keeps the momentum and the ideas kept on coming from there. So we are taking some questions from the floor, and you know, for those of you who have any questions for Stephen or for Stratasys, you know, feel free to type in the chat. So I've got one question in the chat box, which is from Trent, right? So can you talk about some of the machines that you're using? I believe Stephen, you've been now in the industry for what, over 8 years, right? You're definitely a veteran in 3D printing, and whenever you have a new project, you know, I think all of 3D printing or additive manufacturing technologies are at your disposal, right? You think of, you know, all of them and choose the most appropriate one for that specific project. And I think most of the works that when it relates to, you know, there are colors, there are translucencies, there are multi-material that required. Typically, you would turn into PolyJet, right? The J series machines. Is that right?
Well, because the PolyJet has the, you know, the like ready to be used finish, you know, finishing, so you don't really need to do a lot of post processing. So that's that best part of it. So it's a final product that it print. So it's not something that you have to spend a lot of time on post processing.
Right, right. Yeah, this BI project was my personal favorite. Sorry, Stephen. I know all of them are babies, but this one was really, you know, seeing that actual eyes with yourself, and then when you turn that eye around, right, there's different shades of colors that pops off. It was just absolute amazing works. And if I may share my screen real quick, I've got a slide open up for the full portfolios of PolyJet machines. So just wanted to show the audience real quick. Yeah, Stephen, if I may take over the screen for a while.
How do are you on?
Yeah, yeah. So I am about to share my screen real quick, just for trends, right? I believe I'm on. So this is actually the full solution or the full machine portfolios under Stratasys. So we've got technologies coming from PolyJet, chromatography, industry FDM, DLP, which is the Origin platform, and SAF, which is for kind of small volume production, powder-based printing technology, right? And for most of the projects that Stephen shared earlier on, we're coming from the J series systems. So at the entry point, we've got J35, which is entry level, multi-material, office-friendly additive 3D printing system. It sits very quietly and nicely in your office. It's a desktop system, but it doesn't come with color yet, right? So starting from J55, and this is, one of the first Pantone certified 3D printer in the world, right? So the color outputs from the J5 series and the J8 series are, validated by Pantone. It's as accurate as, the same Pantone swatchlet that you would buy anywhere in the world. So J55 featuring full color printing, translucent capabilities, and even rubber-like materials, right? So, and J8 series actually offers a bigger platform size, more material versatilities, all at the same time, simultaneously. And then we've got J4100 series, which is our largest PolyJet system that prints up to 1 meter. And those are typically used in a larger scale of multi-material prototyping and, some end-use production use cases. All right, so that's real quick on the systems that we've used. And then I'm going to take on 2 other questions. Give me a second. What's the material that you used for skateboard? This is coming from Daniel. Which one were you referring to? Stephen, did you share a use case for the skateboard?
Yeah, that was 2018 when I printed. I'm not 100% sure what the material is, but it was let me show.
Make you presenter, so you'll be able to share your screen right now.
Sorry about that. This one. So it was I don't know, it was a half polymer. It actually not really a polymer, but it's a stronger than. So, and then we painted with the, the silver coating.
Right, and in fact, we've recently worked with a design lab in the US that we've actually printed a full-size skateboard using using Origin. So first time, we were able to leverage polymer materials, and that's tough enough and stiff enough to be used as an actual functional skateboard out of photopolymers. So definitely check out that post as well. Thank you for that, Stephen. And the next question from Leon: is it possible for PolyJet to print around a solid object, such as placing metal parts and printing around them? Right, so I suppose that's more related to Stratasys machines. So I'll take that question if I may. So that's a very good question, and that's a request that we've heard from numerous advanced users over the world. And I'm very pleased to announce or to introduce to you our PolyJet research package, right? So that's a advanced software package that we offer for advanced users. Typically these are researchers in university power users of PolyJet systems, right? That features, everything from, stop a print halfway, insert whatever you want, right? It can be a metal object, it can be a RFID. We can even insert liquid in it, right? Anything you can imagine, and then we can continue printing on top of it, right? So it sort of embeds your insert objects around a full color. You can still leverage the full color, the multi-material, transparent capabilities out of PolyJet, but then you'll be able to do something crazy with it, right? So research package, that will be the keywords that you can look out for. And again, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist with your ideas or with your projects. Right. All right. Hope that answers the question. So the next question is from Daniel Young. Is there much talking about going from one material to another in the PolyJet printers? I'm afraid I don't get that question very well. So Daniel,
if you mix materials, you can print at the same time, right? Like soft and hard at the same time.
Yeah. So if it's talking about transitioning from one material to another in the PolyJet printer system, so for all our multi-material systems, all the materials, all the base materials are jetted at the same time, right? So that means they are being printed simultaneously. Depending on what you wanted, in your design, you can have a very steep change from a rigid to a soft material per se, or from one color to another, right? Or you can tune it in such a way, or you can design it in such a way that there's a gradual transition from, say, soft to rigid, from transparent to opaque. That's all possible with your designs. The next, so hope that answers your question, Daniel. The next question we have from, I hope I pronounced the name correct, from Robin, right? So he says, I suppose this is for you, Stephen, absolutely amazing project. You went through them so fast. So I guess people are still, hoping to see more and digest more. Is there any way to see these slides projects later so he can review them in more detail? I guess, Stephen, you could leave your contacts, right? So that they can reach out to you directly. And I'm sure there will be a lot of sparks of ideas that you can come up with. And this webinar is also will also be available on record, on demand. So you will be able to review them later on, at your free time. All right. So the next question coming from Margot, right? Thanks for the great presentation. Can you tell me what sort of textile can be printed on, and what machine prints on a textile, and what sort of material can be printed, rubber, and etc. So Margot coming from New Zealand, right? Kia ora. I recognize that hello phrase. So I may take that question, Stephen, since it's also a 3D fashion product that we are releasing, right? So if you can follow Stratasys on LinkedIn, on Instagram, we are launching a new lineup of products, which is what we call 3D fashion, right? So this is a specific platform that we developed. It's based out of our J850 platform, and we modify it with hardware and software upgrade so that it kind of hooks up textiles, and we're able to print, our usual PolyJet resins, any color, the same PolyJet feasibility of PolyJet capabilities that you'll still be able to enjoy on printing on textiles. And in terms of textiles, because there are so many wide range of textiles available out there, right? So far, what we've tested, and it basically worked with majority of the textiles, but except for the ones that are more looking for the right word, that doesn't absorb water, right, or prevent water penetration. Because the key idea is that for the liquid resin to kind of soak into the textile, and then continue curing so that it kind of bonds very well onto the textile. And other than that, there's not much limitation to the textiles that it can be printed on. So hope that answers the question as well. And the next question is for you, Stephen, again from Robin, right? What design software do you and your team use typically?
Well, I mean, I've been switching platforms from, Maya, ZBrush, and Rhino, so it depends. For example, like this car design, automobile design, I usually use like Rhino is more accurate. And then for sculptures, for texturings, for something that more organic, I use like ZBrush, and also Maya, for modeling. So it depends on what kind of projects. And then for architectural projects, like, AutoCAD, Rhino, SketchUp. So it really depends on project, and then it gives me different, technique and ability, different things. For example, the last project that we did with the, the stone that we actually like ZBrush, to texturize and also to redigitalize the model and also fixing of the model. So it really depends on projects.
All right. Yeah. So it's an amazing portfolio of software or tools that Stephen were able to leverage, right? And also, I guess the key points here is that I suppose this question is more related to how you can leverage or how you can export your file or your project into something that 3D printer can actually recognize and print the color accurately as you want it, right? So essentially, from Stratus's perspective, we've been trying so hard and we worked so hard with so many software companies or software vendors out there. For example, Keyshot is a great example, right? We wanted to kind of provide this workflow for designers so that they don't really have to think of how the hell I'm gonna translate these my ideas into something that the 3D printer can print. So coming out of your Keyshot rendering, if you are using Keyshot, right, you can do all your rendering the same way that you used to do, right, and then export it into a 3MF format, and the printer software were able to recognize the object details, the color information that you were rendering, and output that or print it directly onto with PolyJet J series printers. So that is something that we wanted designers to to be able to design and innovate without the limitations of the software and the tools that you have to use. All right. So hopefully that answers the question as well. I guess that's all the questions that we have so far. If I've missed anything. All right, I think that's all for today. And again, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to our team. And this webinar will also be available on demand later on. So with that, I'd like to thank Stephen for your time and sharing with us all these amazing projects that you guys have done over the years. Thank you so much for taking out the time. And also for the audience here today, thanks a lot for your time in joining today's webinar. I hope you find it useful, and I hope that inspires some of your crazy ideas that you can leverage 3D printers for. So with that, I guess that's it for today. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Stephen. Thanks a lot.